David Davis.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I'm going to be a lot brisker than my predecessor. Hopefully I can get through what I want to say in about 3 or 4 minutes, and if I do it briskly enough, I shall irritate everybody in this debate, because there are fallacies on all sides that have been aired today. I also was not going to declare an interest, but the intervention of the Honourable Member for Glasgow South West provoked me, because I don't have a financial interest, but I do have a grandfather who who was blacklisted for 17. I give way in the middle of declaration of interest.
Say the right honourable member had a financial interest. I just merely quoted his comments about Franco's Britain.
The reason those comments resonate for me is because I had a grandfather who brought me up as a young man who had been blacklisted for 17 years, was unemployed for 17 years off the back of some industry, because he was an organiser in the coalfields of the north and the northeast. So the House will understand I'm a little sensitive to some of the impingements on civil liberties that can come out of industrial relations. It's a particular pleasure to follow. I keep calling him my right honourable friend, the member for Hull and Hull West and Hessel. He was a fabulously good trade union leader. Of course, he's a great debater, as we just heard, but he and I have also served occasionally on the same side in negotiations, in which every single time we managed to get an outcome which was helpful to the workforce and the companies that we were dealing with. But that doesn't mean I think he's got everything right here. And I'll say this to the Labour Party. I've been very helpful to them in some comments I've made, but I'll say this to them. There is an issue when a monopoly, doesn't matter whether it's a private sector monopoly or a public sector monopoly, goes on strike. The victim then is the public. It's not the workforce, because they tend to get their money back in over time. It's certainly not the owners, if there are owners, because they don't lose anything, their market share doesn't go away. It's a monopoly. But the public have got nowhere else to go. And I say this to the Labour Party. I have some sympathy with much of your criticism of this bill, but you have to address this issue. How do we deal with the problem where action by a trade union without proper support, without sufficient support from its own membership, does discomfort the public very badly? And by discomfort, I'm using a very soft word. Not being able to go to, no, not for the moment I won't. I'm going to be very brisk and quick. Not being able to go to work, not being able to go to hospital, not being able to go to school, that's more than discomfort. But I want to come to my primary criticisms of the bill here. The proposals that relate to picketing, to start off with, the right honourable gentleman actually did refer to them. I particularly am offended by the idea that a picket organiser needs to give his name to the police force. Now, I know I've discussed this with the Minister. This has been in previous legislation. I'm ashamed to say I missed it last time. Otherwise, I would have voted against it last time. But this, to me, is a serious restriction of freedom of association. It's not on the same basis as let's say, getting the organiser of a big demonstration to give his name to the workforce. There's all the difference in the world between 500,000 people clogging up London and half a dozen pickets standing around a brazier, rather shivering, whilst they're trying to maintain a strike. So it seems to me this is an incredibly important issue, and is one that we don't want to get onto a slippery slope with. And I say to certainly my right honourable friend, the Minister, that I will be seeking, and I'm not alone, I will be seeking, and I'm not alone, to alter that during the course of this, the progress of this bill. And I say to him that it will actually improve the bill doing that. It won't make it worse. It won't take anything fundamental away. But what it will do is take off the edge the suggestion that's come over time and time again from the other side, that this is somehow a vindictive anti-union bill. This is not. This should be a bill for the people, not against the unions. And that's what fits with our approach. The other single component I want to complain about, to raise, is the issue of, I know it's just in consultation at the moment, but because the consultation has been fast, it may well turn up as a government amendment later, is the issue of restricting the actions of unions in social media. This strikes me both as impractical, how on earth are you going to do it, on the one hand, and actually asking for judicial trouble as well. You will be judicially reviewed on this issue if you pursue this line. Now, there are arguments that it's to stop bullying Well, fine. Pass a law to stop bullying, but make it affect everybody. Don't just make it affect trade unions. Pass a law to stop intimidation. Make it affect everybody. We do have quite a lot of laws to prevent intimidation. Those are two critical elements to me, weaknesses in this bill. And I will seek to prevent both of them making it through the third reading. If they are included in the third reading, I'm afraid I will vote against. I'll vote for today. But if this bill has still got those measures in it when we get to third reading, I'll be voting against. And I say again to him, I doubt I'll be alone.